Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith, the Black Quant VTF here, T3 Live, and we're going to start off the new week, short week, 4 days, but inside week for the S&P Spider here. You can see this. So the question is, it's going to go momentum, hammer to the upside. You've got the attempt down, and then back and opening and closing hammer near the highs, and to see if we can finally make another push towards the highs. We're a little bit fragmented in the sectors and stuff, and I'll get to that in a second. The QQQ still taking care of business and goes up to the highs, and you can see here if we go back to a 60, you'll see this. Hello. Taking care of business off this try here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and into the highs, but no new actionable signal. But just anytime you go out on the highs, it's going to look good. It's just a matter of momentum at this point for them. If you go to Apple, and Apple still not doing too much, but maintaining this. Here's this broadening formation we saw here. Hammer, then go, take this out. Trying to ride the top of this here. Now you can see just hammer and shooter and kind of stuck in here. No new real actionable signal outside of the shooting star. Trying to get back into the triangle if they want to bring it in. And no actionable signal on the longer term stuff. If we go to small cappers, small cap are still just stuck in a range, right? And stuck. The good thing was that they took a shot down here and brought it back. The question is, they're going to have enough in the tank to get through here. Still doji inside month, and if you go to the weekly here, again, you can see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks completely within this bar's range. That needs to change. Trying to anticipate when things are going to go, you don't have to do that. Once they're on the move, we know how to get in. All right, if we go to the bonds TLT, and TLT weekly here, you can see in the monthly, they gave her up for dead, but green on the month and trying to pop back up a little bit. Nothing really new here, because remember those multiple inside pattern down in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days completely within that bar's range. So this is going to be an important control area if they ever come down and take it out. But for right now, pops back up, comes in a little bit like that. And so on the weekly, you'll see something like this. Just these slight higher highs off of all that to see if it's going to come back in shooting star style and try to take a shot back into there, but nothing major over there either. If you go to SVXY, still getting the job done in the VXX, and you have the UVXY split. VIX is down at 11, so this is pretty low. So that's why we're going to watch, if they're going to get a spike in volatility, going to watch these inside weeks. The S&P goes down, that would get it going. Otherwise, potential for single-digit VIX, which was let's not even say it. Okay, let's go to the Dow Jones Diamonds. Dow Jones Diamonds inside week. So 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks of sideways here to see if we can finally make it to 20,000. No need to anticipate though, because if you look at this daily, it's just doing absolutely nothing. It's just nothing. They took a shot at it, couldn't do it. Took a shot at it, couldn't do it. So the question is, they're going to shake them back down into here first, or what happens? Do we get a clean break? If we go to Nike here, Nike going to go inside week. Nike's still attempting the comeback trail. Inside week here to see if it's got more in the tank to try and take this out here. Inside week up, or is it just going to go inside week, and this is all just corrective activity again and peak? If we go to United Healthcare here, and you can see this 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks inside of that stuff. So still doji month, but interesting things across the healthcare there, even though it's inside day, but you can see how dried up that is. If you go to something like Cardinal Health, you're going to see this thing coming back up here, and they crush this thing here, and now still trying to creep back up in here. If we go to our weekly, you're going to see this potential doji momentum hammer to try and take that back up into there. For right now on the daily, though, just kind of walking up a series like this. If we go to and we look at a couple more healthcare, Cigna at this point is presently inside month and up here to see if it's going to take a shot at all this stuff, the up sideways measured move month. And if you go to the weekly triangle, you'll see what that would look like here. You can see a little bit more room up in there if they want to pick that baby up in ANTM. Here, you can see this potential measured move out of this, up, sideways. What is this stuff? This broadening formation here, does it drop back into this one, or does it go measured move and start ripping here? We do got a new president coming up here, so he might have something to say about all this stuff, or tweet about it probably. Humana, just holding up above this range here, these stuff in here. So we'll see how they go together. And THC, This thing coming off the bottom, still inside month and up for you. But sticking with the Dow Jones, Procter & Gamble. Tight triangle business here, and that's the problem with the Dow right now. A bunch of tight stuff here. So the question is, how do we get out of this? Does it start coming back up into here? We go to the more defensive names. There's a doji on the week, or does it start getting worse down into here with the? But XLP. And the XLP just doing nothing here. So the question, are they going to do anything in some of these sectors? But you do have stuff like Kellogg's, certainly still selling off and underperforming compared to, say, Post, which is going toward the highs here after last month. Rev strat to the upside, and now still continuing. And now you have momentum weekly hammer here. If they want to pile into the defense and the cereal and the Raisin Bran and all that kind of stuff. Because you got Smucker's Jam, SJM, outside week, that's fractal triangle finally. But it's here getting close to taking the inside month to the upside. Kimberly Clark, and it's stuck in here. How are you going to get out of here? But you do have inside week to challenge the month on either side of that thing, but not there. Let's go to the trannies. All right, it's trannies. So much ado about the trannies hitting new highs and pulling back here. Now, the question is, how bad is that going to be? So far, not bad. And so they just drift here. So if this is corrective activity, we're going to start moving higher. Once again, it's going to be subsector stuff there. You got Delta, and you remember Delta went all the way here. Top of the triangle here. And you're just starting off with some inside days to start off the week for the airlines and the Delta and the United Airlines inside week. There's not too much else to look at as far as the longer term stuff, but just starting off the week is inside days. There's Southwest Air, Alaska Air stronger, still going towards the highs, so there still has the momentum there. Just no new actionable signals, and you got Hawaiian Air here going inside week. Here, see if that thing wants to keep going. If we go to choo-choos, you got CP Rail. Here you see the inside weak momentum hammer to try and get outside of this thing if there's more in the tank. As you can tell from the weekly, it's been going sideways for a while, and here's your monthly. Just stuck in this business. So the hopes is it can at least run up towards that thing. So you got an inside week to gauge that off of to start off. If you go to CNI, you can see a little bit stronger. And so like a lot of these rails, have not taken out the highs yet, and they're just walking back up, and that's what you're seeing here. No new actionable signal, however. If you go to CSX, you can see this thing is moonshot. And they know it's going to fall down, and it's like, no, it's not. But it's on the highs, and so it's straight momentum at this point. KSU, a little different story here, because KSU tried to go inside month and down, but is now trying to get back in there, and so it's either going to reconfirm that month and down with this inside week, or that inside week's going to try and bring it back up. If we go to Norfolk Southern inside week, and like I said, a lot of these choo-choos just trying to get back towards the all-time highs, but now you got an inside week to keep a chugging. Union Pac. Right, still have all this monthly stuff here, and trying to use this triangle support to be a consolidation area before going higher. Just don't have any actionable signals. Is going to be the problem. If we go to our buddy Rail, this thing's still gradual, and we're still waiting to see if we can significantly take out this outside bar here, and that's 1603. So far, just sitting there, but we're still keeping an eye on it. If we go to FedEx here, and tries to go like this, tight ranges again, tries to go here, inside weak and down. Takes it out by a little bit, so technically it's a rough shot to the upside, but really a 2-week inside pattern of this stuff. UPS broke, but then tries to come back up. Still a walking down, and like I said, we need this VIX to blow up so we can get some ranges out of this. Look at this. Okay, if we CHRW, trucker, and that's just starting off as an inside week. Like a lot of things, and the thing is, we have a short week, so we're hoping for some volatility out of some of these earnings, but that's another higher probability of getting inside weeks because you got less time. So inside week to keep an eye on in there. If we go to the Utes not doing much here. Like I said, there's a lot of not doing much that needs to break. So you can see here, tight daily triangle like this here. And here, and the only thing I was really seeing is something like this PEG, PEG out of this. If it's going to try and get it out of there, so this would be Rev Strat because it was an inside day, took it out, comes back in hammer. And on the weeklies, it would be two side-by-side hammers here if they want to try to hit them, now take a shot at the upside. So potentially peggy there if the Utes want to go. If we go to the REITs, VNQ, and VNQ, remember last week I talked about being careful here. They go into slight higher highs. And not the end of the world, though, because if we take a look at some stocks in there, DLR goes inside weak. Here, if it wants to go up, sideways measured move and take a shot at that stuff. You got letter O as an inside week and letter O above the inside month, like triple N. So it's inside week and inside month combo potential there. If we go to OHI, that's the same thing. Inside weeks, above inside months. So it either drops them back in or gives them the double signal to the upside. SPG. And SPG still floundering down in here, but it is an inside week if there's any hope. So as you can see this here, you get the lower lows and the higher highs. So if you go to the daily, you'll see something like this to keep an eye on. Like so. If we go to the financials, oh boy. We hoped and prayed that these earnings would get something going, and it's just doji land. You get killed in here. And so this needs to change. This is just horrible. And now you've got this big weekly doji in the middle. It's not selling off. It's not ripping. XLF, KRE, all these things just sitting here doing nothing. And so we need some definitive breaks, and earnings didn't do it. So over time, we can expect that the broadening formation will expand. It's just what side are they going to try? Are they going to try the upside? Are they going to try the downside? Hopefully the downside. But if we go to JP Morgan here, you can see the same stuff. It's just doing nothing, trying to grind higher, but it's so painfully slow, and the ranges are so bad that Citicorp here, you can see these triangle getting a little bigger, at least trying to. Wells Fargo at least finally goes inside weak. You can see, look at this nightmare in here. At least goes inside weak here. I'm sorry, it goes, I thought it went inside. No, what was I looking at? Oh, here's what it did. That's right. It was inside of all of this here, but finally takes that out to the downside and back up. Potentially that's good, but we're not going to spend too much time on that. Bank of America here, at least a little better, but look at this range. So when I say that's probably hands off, it's probably hands off. If you want to go to a PNC Bank, starting to rock and roll at least a little bit here, and here you can see it's getting a little messy in here, but at least the moves are getting bigger, and that to be the hopes. But like I said, we really need a VIX to be back over not 11. So if we go to, I'm not going to waste too much more time. Deutsche Bank goes inside weak. If the comeback trail continues over there. MA is presently RevStrat month to the upside here, and then Visa is going inside weak. So keep an eye on those two right there. And then Goldman Sachs, good luck in this thing here, right in here. It's just doing nothing. So all those things need range extensions on both sides. And oftentimes when you have an inside weak in the S&P and things tighten up, they try both sides and the new triangles begin. So let's hope for that. If we go to the XME, the metals, we got inside weak over there. So that's something to start. So, unfortunately, inside week means, for the most part, doing nothing. We're getting stuck in here. We really need to see some nice, when you start getting in mid-month or later in the month, we want to go after things that have long green or red bars with actionable signals because it tells you they're on the move. So, if we go to gold here, finally trying to come off of this stuff here, right, on the monthly, like so. And so it is coming up, and we got GDX going inside weak, coming up like that, but inside weak here. So we want to see how does the GDX get out of this stuff here, like so. There's your inside weak. Now, are you going to go ripping up back into here, or just stop them out and drop all the way back in here and puke again? If we go to silver still tight in here, and for the month, would still be inside month. Hasn't taken out last month's highs. So some tight range stuff in there. But we'll see if we can get anything going here. You got AVX here in the golds going inside weak with the GDX. You've got Newmont, trying to see if it's going to re-break the month here, and that would re-break the inside month at 3609er. Not close right now, so the question is going to rev strat back down. The inside week should tell a few tales. EXK here, little guy in the silver. If they want to get going, here's this. So you'll see this inside week. Here's your triangle. Try and get out of that to the upside or drop back in. If we go to GG and the golds, GG, there's your inside week. And let's see what else we got here. RGLD here. And that weekly here is a 2-bar pattern. Can get out of here. So it would be rev strat to the downside because it takes the inside bar, opens and closes back inside of it. So if they puke, it goes rev strat 65.12. If we go to Silver Wheaton, SLW, there's an inside week. It's looking the same. You can see this here. Have to get out of this. So we'll see if we get these metals on the move. If we go to in the aluminum CENX, now we're talking. Last week, nice inside month to the upside cruiser, and you can see how that was rev strat week, inside week, tried to take it out, opens and closes back in here, so it went rev strat week above this, and just took them all out, boom, 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 boom. It's still monthing up, and that was triggered by a gap up off an inside day, so now you're just on the highs, but you are still inside monthing up, so we can look for reconfirming actionable signals there. If we get a copper, JJC starting back on the move, and remember, copper made this move off the inside month hammer here. So now the question is going to go up and then have the down month and then really rip and do another measured move off of this. If we go to SCCO, you can see how this is trying to get out of this big monthly triangle in here. All right, trying to get out of here, you just don't have any actionable signals. So what it did do is it pulled in like so, and so the question is, it's going to keep rocking. We just don't have any actionable signals. It's going to be the problem. If we go to TECK, remember, did this, and the spike, I believe, was real. And the good part about something like this is that when you go back, remember, this thing used to be a lot higher. And it's actually been a lot higher. So when people get focused on the short term, be like, oh, it's overbought, can't keep going. That's when you want to start looking back like this. Are you sure about that? All right, so we'll see. If we go to letter X still stuck in here, this lowered monthly, and so on the daily, you're going to see this, right? When things start to tighten up, then they test both sides. Like so, bam, 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 bam. Now the question is, this going to be a momentum shooting star and start expanding this range, right? What that means, they took a shot at the upside, came down, and guess where the stops go? Right here. So we'll see if that can take care of business, because you got Nucor ridiculously tight and inside weak here, and STLD also an inside week, and the question is whether that's going to finally come in and go inside week down and weekly shoot or monthly shooter and down. So, but it's also starting off as an inside day. If we go to FCX daily comes back in the triangle, but now tries to go momentum hammer back up. Still trying to work on a definitive break of the month. And so here's that inside month. And, see if you can get that up, sideways measured move and keep going. Right now, just doing the creeper. If we got a CCJ, been talking about this uranium for a while and now really picking up some steam. Like I said, when you go back on time on some of this stuff, yield used to be somebody's up in here, and now just still coming off there. Just no new actionable signal, but certainly on the move. If we go to crude, USO, and here you see this higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, broadening formation there. I'll shrink that down so you can see it a little bit better. Like so. And so we need to get out of here, and you're nowhere near doing it. And once again, well, you could go here. Could be weekly hammer here that comes down and stops this stuff out and takes a shot towards up in here. But here is that the daily triangles, going to be tighter in here. But it looks like on the weekly because it came from here. So the question is this going to be the continuation pattern? Hammer that takes the triangle back up, or is this the slight higher highs here that finally drops it back in? I guess we're going to find out, because XLE comes back into this stuff, and for the month, It is monthly shooter and trying to drop back in. XOP here, and then the OIH, which was stronger and still is because it's still inside month. The question on this OIH is, what is this? It's going to try and hold this as an upper level triangle of this to try and go right back up through that, or is it going to drop back into this stuff? Go to Chevron, still doing nothing but inside day, but you do have this. It's red on the month, but the question is, what is this doji? Is this going to test this range down and then take that doji hammer right back up into there? Certainly, underlier is going to have something to say about it. We go to Exxon, and all these guys are going to matter for the Dow too. Exxon a little worse, and hung up in here and get clobbered down and back into here. Now, starting off as inside day to see if this continues down. Stop them out here, go inside day and measured move and keep hitting it. Starting off as an inside day, no longer term actionable signals. Axon. Apache. Weekly, the question is this. It's an inside week potential momentum shooting star. So that goes weak and down below 62.11. Go to Devon. Here, there's just another inside week. So we're going to, when we have these, I mean, these ranges are just horrible. I mean, they can be. This is just horrible. You get a few of this stuff like that. So Earl number always on Wednesday morning, but we certainly will watch if there's a combination of these weekly breaks together. If we go to GPOR, here inside week, now you can see this thing's been handily underperforming, but now it's inside week to see if that continues to stink the joint up or uses that to come back up. If we go to Emerald Hess drops in, and Emerald Hess just starting off as an inside day here. So it takes this business out. So the question can be strong enough to use this inside day to get back up into this stuff, or is this break real where it takes that out, and that inside day low would be 58.25. Murphy Earl here. This would be rev strat week to the upside. Hammer counters the inside week. These ranges are still ridiculously tight, but that would go rev strat above 31.50. NFX just an inside week, and we're seeing a lot of this here. Big monthly range, so even if it goes up, it's going to be a tough time not being an inside month on that. So you'd prefer it to the downside because you had a better shot at taking that out. Once again, watching the underlier. OIS, on the other hand, it is red on the month, but it's still maintaining up into this business here so far. Looking like this. Here, and now an inside day to see if it wants to try and take that or come back in. If we go to Oxy just starting off as an inside day, and Oxy weekly. Here you can see still putting in the series of lower highs, and then the monthly right now. Inside month, getting closer to taking out last month's lows than this month's highs. If we go to SM Energy. SM, you can see that's taking out last month's lows and going inside week here. Outside week, inside week to see if it wants to accelerate to the downside or show what she's got. XEC, we know this has been one of the outperformers, but it does go shooting star here on a lower high to see if they want to bring that thing in back into this triangle. If we go to Slob and Halliburton, Slobby inside week. And so the question here with these OIH has been outperformers. They're still hanging near the recent highs, but you do have the inside week here. Slob, not quite OIH, Halliburton. Halliburton just missed as it sold off at the end, but Halliburton, remember, this has been outperforming, but then drops back in. And on the monthly, you'll see this. What is this business in here? All right, so you got that inside week to gauge the Slob and the Halliburton. If you go to Helmrich Payne inside week there. And once again, Doji Monthers is making it tough in here, but you know, so when you see this business in here, this is a pretty nice range though. So this tight triangle here will respect the inside week breaks. If we go to NOV, National Oil Varco, That's inside week as well. It started to poke its head up. And then the question is, going to be a monthly shooter failure back into this range and take this stuff out? That would be a combination of the monthly and the weekly if it does break to the downside. OII still has some room here, but remember, this is an inside month, and this is shooting star, so below 26.59 would RevStrat to the downside monthly. If we go to the refiners, Valero, it's again holding them better than most, albeit down in the month. It's trying to hold this up in here on the daily. Going inside day, the question is going to take another shot up in here. Is it going to go down, sideways, measured move type of deal here with an inside day down? Because you got MPC, which did the gap in reverse, which has been beautiful ever since to the downside. Just nothing new on that. But if you go to HFC here, you can see this upper level triangle here, and now potential momentum shooting star if they want to take this out and expand that range. No other actionable signals going there. If we go to the natty, you guys, and you can see this business in here, this big one in here, now a tighter range in here. So nothing really new on that. You know, it's YAR's going to start off here in the natty as an inside day. You got SWN. As you can see, the problem with this low VIX is the good part is we're going to have a lot of actionable signals. You got a lot of these inside weeks. The bad part is until we can get a spike in volatility, it's a matter of how far they're really going to go off of this stuff. All right, SWN goes inside week. You've got EQT here still trying to come down into this stuff, and you can see how weak this has been on a monthly basis. You just want to be aware of things taking out last month's lows for sure. If you go to no new actionable signals there, GLNG here, this thing trying to go inside month and up, and that GLNG goes inside month and up about 25.45. It's above that right now. And oh yeah, Rice Energy here's another inside weaker for you to keep an eye on there. So the question is, does it try and take all this stuff out here? Like so, or is this a test that these lows go inside and then come right back up on them? Guess we're going to find out if we go to XRT Retail. We come back into the middle of this range. So here's all this stuff. Had the shot at the upside, now comes puking right back into all the middle of this stuff on the monthly. You're going to see this. Tries to go up here, now comes back. How do we get out of all this stuff? Do we make another shot at that, or is retail, as we know it, outside of Amazon, done? And so we'll see how that goes. If we go to Target, Target goes inside month and down. Still a two-bar pattern. Remember, it's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 months completely in that bars range is the problem. But it is month and down. And remember, talked about this here. And gradually she goes into the tanker. So inside month and down still in force there. If you go to Walmart, Walmart is RevStrat month to the downside. Here, inside month, countered with the shooter back inside that range. RevStrat month down below 68.83. So now you can look for reconfirming signals there if Walmart wants to keep puking. And once again, just an example of this, as you can see that what they do is there's three levels here. That's why the RevStrat two-bar RevStrat can be so powerful. These guys, and these guys. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and you're all gone. But we'll see if that continues. If we go to Costco. Costco a little better. Still an inside month. It's still green. Just ridiculously tight. Again, this business. But what that does is it gives you the inside week here. So Costco an inside week to see if this can go up, sideways. Take them out, go inside and get a measured move up towards that. We'll be watching either side of that inside week for sure. And Costco, Abercrombie still a pig. Inside week near the lows after the outside week to see if that thing keeps going into oblivion. If we go to Burlington Coat Factory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks completely within this bars range, but it does go inside week, so we'll see if that gets anything going because those other weeks made the inside month. Now, it would be tough to take this out, but it has potential of inside week, inside month down combination. If we go to Dillard's department store, inside month and down, and we know we've seen what some of these department store things can do. So it's still $56 to go if they're going to zero. So we'll see how hard they want to hit it. If you go to the weekly, you'll see this here inside week. So it's either inside week measured move like this, down sideways inside week measured move, and do it again, or have they taken a bunch of this out and can start to recover because you are going slight lower lows off of this. So we'll keep an eye on that weekly, monthly combo stuff. If we go to Dick's Sporting Goods, inside week here, the question is it going to be strong enough to hold this business and get back up into there, or is this a little corrective activity and repuke? Remember the monthly looking like this here. So if this triangle comes all the way back down like a lot of this retail's been, this would be a big problem here, but we'll see. If we go to Brinkers is presently inside month and down. Presently inside month and down here, so we want to respect that. Just coming into slight lower lows consolidation here, so you always want to be careful when you go into higher highs or lower lows, but you do have the actionable signal in force. If you go to Gap Stores, inside week here to see if it's got weak enough to come down into this business, or if this is a higher low and comes up. Inside week there. We've got Nordstrom, egad boy, inside week if they want to keep pummeling. And, like a lot of this longer term stuff, if this brick and mortar type of business is in trouble, you got to crush them, bring them back all the way up into here. And now if they retest there, that's still a nice move. And it is inside week to continue this daily gap here. Gap and go so far inside week. If we go to Coach, see how the purses are doing. All right. Inside week for the purses to see, if they got them out here and then come down and try and take a shot at all these guys here after this spike up, got them good again. So potential inside week back to the down with the Coors purses also an inside week are there to see how the purses do as a crew. If we go to Children's Place, which was one of the champs, but now big weekly shooter. Of course, you're going to take these babies out and give them tests to the downside because it would also be monthly shooter back in here to see, all right, how far do you think you're going to go? So if you go to the daily, those shooters are going to look like this on a daily. They pop it up, but they bring it right back in. Obviously, going to be a lot of eyeballs on this neighborhood here, 100. So we'll see how it handles it if it gets through it. If we go to Phillips Van Puken, PVH, and they tried to rally it back after this, but this is, corrective activity and then right back into the tanker, and that gives you an outside week. All right, fractal triangle to see if it's going to go down sideways measured move of this and really get clobbered. So certainly keep an eye on that because here, if you go back to the monthly, there's still a lot of room to go down and test this baby. That is nowhere near there. So certainly going to be aware of that. Someone like RL also having the same type of problem. The monthly never got back up into here and just pops them up, takes them out, pukes, pops them up, takes them out, pukes. Now it's a matter of just taking that stuff out. You don't have any actionable signals there as yet, so we'll have to watch for additional stuff. Ross Stores tries to take the inside month to the downside, but it comes right back into the range. So Ross Stores still hanging tough. Didn't get the memo so far, and you can see this business. This is a lower high in here, but the question is how high can we get off of this stuff here, back shooting up into there. But so far, so good for Ross Stores, albeit if it starts to re-break that month, we'll be aware of that. If you go to Signet, Sig, this thing, still puking, and you can see they come up, they stop them out, they go inside month, puke. So the question is, it's going to be one giant continuation pattern of this, and take the inside month and go all the way and take that out. When I talk about looking for additional combinations, you'll see on the daily here, this went momentum shooting star here. Ready, up, no, and then bam. And that full time frame counting to the downside on Friday. Still month and down. We'll look for additional actionable signals there. TJ Maxx still hasn't made up its mind with the old Ross Stores here. Still sticking on this inside month in here. So it's still the Ross Stores and the TJ Maxx still hanging around. If you go to Ulta Salon, Ulta still hanging around in here and now going inside week. here to see if you can use this inside week to take another shot up into there, or if this stuff is lower than that and wants to take a shot at all this stuff. Inside week Alta, VFC Corp. Still more pain and suffering here, and that's inside month and down, so we can look for additional actionable signals there as well. Whole Foods just going tight inside week, and we know this is here. And so the question is, what is this? It's going to take this lower lows inside and go back up, or is it going to try and take all this stuff and retest the lows? If you go to the daily, you'll see it like this. Here, this daily triangle here. So it's going to go inside week and use that to try and get back up into here, or get worse and take it out. If we go to the IBB, and IBB started off well until the Trumpy tweeted, and we started off with the inside month to the upside, which it still is. It's just what we're seeing is still a really fragmented setups where some are strong, some are weak, and then you get them to reverse. I mean, like this. And that's the problem you have when you get an inside break and you don't break the mother bar, because you're still technically a 2-month inside pattern. And so here it was, off to the races, yay! Trumpy says no, and now just coming back up in here. But XLV here, a little bit of the same, and that's a 2-day inside pattern. But XLV also working on that monthly. So all these drugs and medical stuff still interesting here. If you go to BIIB here, still handily inside month. And so the bad part about that is that it wasn't strong enough to take the monthly break when IBB did, right? And so should the IBB start to reverse, these are the types of things you go after because they weren't strong enough in the first place. So if the IBB goes rev strat 1 bar, takes out the other side of the month, these are the guys that are the candidates to do that inside month and downer. Celgene goes up and comes back in. Still 2-month pattern. And once again, the problem here, now you got an outside week, which means the triangle is going to attempt to grow. But until you get out of this mother bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks completely in this week's range, you can expect to get chopped up. You can expect it to come back and forth, multiple inside pattern. And so what that's going to start you off with is a rev strat day. Shooting star counters the inside hammer. If we go to Amgen, so we got Amgen with that gap up and then tries to dipsy doodle here. 2-day inside pattern. It would be a rev strat to the downside, but it is inside week here. So the question, we're going to get the up sideways measured move off of this and pick up some more steam because it's also still inside month and up here in the Amgen. If we go to GILD, still suffering, just still walking down slowly but surely. It has its moments and then inside week, so here, these triangles get tight, and you can see this here. And now inside week to see if they want to go right back down into this business here, $70. But we'll see. Inside week for GILD. Regeneron, still inside month and nowhere near taking out either side of that as of right now. And they had a big gap down for like $20. It's still in this thing, still just in the grander scheme of things, doing nothing. If you go to ABC, ABC is still inside month and up, and potentially here, this would be a momentum hammer. They tried to hit it again and bring it right back up. So this goes momentum hammer weekly, inside month and up above 86.31. We can look for additional signals on that to see how it sets up. ACAD. ACAD is momentum weekly hammer to the upside here, if they can take that out. So you got the Trump spike down and a lot of this stuff. The question is, is he going after everybody, or is this going to be exclusive? And some of these guys, if the drugs work, the drugs work. So that'd be momentum hammer above 33.32 for the week. If we go to Alexion here, I believe just misses the inside week, and you can see this triangle here, this business in here, right? All in here. Remember the daily looking like this. Here. So the problem with Alexion here is going to be this. Let's see all this big triangle. Bam, 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 bam. Now it comes in, couldn't make the higher high here. Comes back in. This would be rev strat day to the downside. 2-bar pattern because it's completely in that bar's range. Inside hammer, counter of a shooter. So it goes rev strat below 135.41 on the daily to start off the week. Go to AstraZeneca. And AstraZeneca, you might remember, just keeping an eye on this weekly triangle here to see if we get any additional signals to see if this thing can start flying back up into here. If we go to blue, inside week for the blue, not doing too much, but be aware of it. like so. If we go to BMRN here, still working on the monthly, like so. 2-bar monthly pattern, but does re-break the inside month above 87.61. If we go to ENDP, ENDP goes 1-bar rev strat downside. Took the inside month, tries to go to the upside, and gets completely rejected. Still rev strat below 1472 to the downside if that's what they want to finish him. If we go to GlaxoSmithKline, that's just another one of these big weekly triangles to keep an eye on here. Like so. Inside week. Something like this. Keep an eye on. Just if these things want to start getting moving. AstraZeneca, Glaxo, we'll see. If we go to Jazz Farm, you can see this big triangle here. And the reason we keep an eye on these triangles is you get the ILMN started ripping. Remember we talked about that inside week, and then boom, gone, right? But Jazz Farm here, still slightly on the inside monther. Here, coming up with that, that's still inside month and up above 114.86. If we go to Juno, but it is green on the month, and you got this tight inside week if there's any hope. So inside week and up above 2070 for Juno. If we go to MNK just starting off as a couple inside days here. Like that, tight stuff in here, but inside days, we'll see how that goes to start off the week. Go to Mylan. Yeah, Mylan inside day here to see if that's going to get anything going here back into this stuff, or if it re-breaks to the upside. Mylan here would be re-break to the upside monthly above 38.79. Otherwise, potential for the 1-bar rev strat. See you later. Goodbye. If we go to NDRM on the move here, and you can see this. This is what you like. Get them triangles to grow. They're too tight, too tight. Okay, now we're on the move. You go inside day here, and because of this action, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, open it here, and you go bam. What that does, and when I say fractal triangle, you see this triangle? It's going to be an outside bar on a longer-term time frame, and that's what it is. Outside weekly momentum hammer above 24.25. If you go to Allergan, outside weak, so that's fractal triangle, and what that means is you look at this, you see the slight higher highs, you see the lower lows, like this, here, and it's still presently inside month to the upside above 212.45. If we go to NLNK, how she tried. Remember last time we were looking at this inside week and had a nice move initially, right? Up to 14, but then comes in puking here. So here's that initial break, triangle expansion here, bam. But then inside day back down, hammer countered by shooter. So potentially what that sets up is the weekly rev strat. If it takes this out, a rev strat's right back through all this stuff, and that would be below 11.53. If you go to Perigo, see Perigo, awful, just walking down this here. It's right about where it stops would be the good part for it, but it sets up as daily rev strat to the downside here. Here, if it wants to get through all that stuff, inside bar countered by opening and closing back in, 2-bar pattern. And then here, it's inside month and down. When the IBB goes inside month and up and this goes inside month and down, yeah, they get problems. If you go to PTCT still inside month and up and used to be somebody and still fighting for life here. If this is for reals, player, it used to be somebody. And here, so it's not quite inside day, I don't believe, no, but you can see it's trying to use all this stuff to get out of here, and it is inside month and up, so you can keep an eye on the little guy if he starts to move. Rare getting tight triangle in here too on the daily, getting them in here. You'll see this, and like so. How do we get out of this business in here? Because still one of those things that we want to use the weekly break to try and get out of all this stuff. You can see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks within there, and that gives us the inside month. So now you got the weekly and the monthly combination to try and break out of that. If you go to Repligen, RGEN, Once again, getting closer to the inside month to the downside and setting up his daily rev strat to do it here. If they want to try and take this range out, rev strat here below daily 3080. Go to Sarepta. Talked about this lower triangle in Sarepta, and Sarepta got him but good in here. 1, 2, 3 bars inside of that. But remember what it did. If this is the retracement, you take that bar out a little bit, then you come back up. I don't know if it's going to be a straight shot through all this stuff, but we can look for additional actionable signals there. Sarepta. Teva, yeah, pig. Still dying. And the best thing Teva's got going for it would be is almost an inside day. It would be technically a rough strat up, but it's 2-bar inside day pattern to see if they really just going to keep bloodying this or try and bring it back up through that stuff. And TSRO, still the king. TSRO goes inside day and inside month up combo on Friday, and so still inside month and up and still going into the highs for now. All right, if we go to TAC, XLK, with the Qs, the TAC's still the ripper. So if you go to SMH, if you go to SMH here, still would be inside month, and so SMH struggling just a little bit more, but still hanging around the highs. So if we go to the fangers, once again, beginning of the year, what were we looking for? Facebook inside month, and there you go. So the question is it going to be strong enough to go all the way to the highs? It's taken this out. It is inside month. It is technically two-bar pattern. So this needs to give us some more actionable signals. You can see what Facebook has done. Hello, inside month and up, ripper goo. Amazon the same. Amazon, we came up here. We got the up, sideways, and the measured move. Still inside month and up here is the Amazon, and Amazon a little stronger because it took this out. It's taken both of these out on the way up. Just no new actionable signals, but those signals are still in force. Netflix earnings coming out this week, and Netflix is inside year and up. And once again, these 2 months here, we're inside of here. So the question is, you get the up, sideways, measured move with the earnings to come out. It's also inside year and up and trying to go into new highs. We'll see what the earnings do for that. If we go to Google, Goog's just doing the slow chugga here, but right here for the daily, stuck in this business in here. Now you got a shooting star after the hammer. The question is, going to be upper level triangle and just drop back through this stuff into here, or is it going to try and hold this and just keep doing the creeper? No new actionable signal there. If we go to AMBA, in AMBA, we had that daily hammer on Friday to try and hold this triangle in here. So just going to keep an eye on this business in here to see if it can further hold and take a shot at here. And what is a strong sector, albeit AMBA lagging at this point, and no new actionable signal to go after. ANET. Coming up to go weekly momentum hammer, and this thing has stayed strong. So momentum hammer above 101.30. AVGO. Here, going inside week, and I talked about just being a little bit aware of this thing. Here is an outside month, inside month, but anytime it goes full time frame counter to the upside, you certainly can go after it. Now you got an inside week for an actionable signal. You'll see that it wants rev strat day up on Friday here, inside bar hammer, counter, and then back up. But now you got inside week for AVGO. Baidu, inside day, and it does take the month up here. All right, here takes, but still stuck. I mean, really in a tight range. It still needs to break out of all of this stuff. So the question is, going to keep consolidating or finally make the move, because you have that inside month, inside day. So if it takes the day up, that would go month and day to the upside. But if it takes the day down, you'd also have the weekly shooter back in. So that's such as life in low volatility. So if we get to Cirrus Logic, you can see outside week, and she's had some harrowing moments in here, but recovered it. And so the question is, they just try and stop them out. So the outside bar is fractal triangle, and now to see, you can keep an eye on this thing here. It starts ripping through these guys or up into here in a strong sector. We're going to look for some additional actionable signals to do it first. CSC, Computer Sciences, we want daily hammer up. Inside month and up. It's now a rev strat month to the upside. So like I said, when we look for those combinations on Friday, once it starts getting closer to re-breaking that inside month to the upside for a rev strat, you just look for what else did you have to indicate it would do that. Here's your hammer weekly, hammer daily. All right, but right now just rev strat month. If we go to FTNT, still rev strat month to the upside here. All right, and remember we were watching Hack. Hack comes up and takes the inside month, so that certainly helped. If we go to Splunker here, still watching that daily triangle like this to try and get through here. Another inside day, and Splunker still looking like this. Like so. Try to see if it starts making a run through here with the inside month and up in the Hack. Symantec taking care of business on the upside. Symantec inside month and up in that stuff here. So you look at this monthly triangle in here. Bam, 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 bam. Now, if this is the consolidation, the inside month and up, take a shot towards 28 or more. If we go to KLAC, just looking through some semis. Here, getting closer to the month up, like so, inside month and up to try and take out the highs. MCHP, you can see this inside month trying to, these are all momentum because they're going straight into the highs, but it would be inside month and up. You're seeing this in like analog devices getting closer. We can keep an eye on all that stuff in Marvell. Just if they want to keep cranking the semis, a bunch of those months that could take it, because NVIDIA, Corpse, and like I said, once it goes into here, good chance, almost positive it's going inside month, right? And so that's when that ranges start to tighten up. You do have a shooter on the weekly if they want to try and bring it in, though. We'll see. If we go to Priceline here, monthly, goes down. 1 bar rev strat would be above 1566.63. Pokes it down, then comes right back up. It's going to give you a daily triangle like this to keep an eye on this thing here. So the question is this going to be the continuation pattern of this move? Stop them out. Goo-hoo. Right, so we'll see how that goes. If we go to Red Hat, trying to walk up into this gap. And so what it's giving you here, by backing off from the highs and then rallying back, is this momentum weekly hammer if it wants to try and take a shot back up into that gap stuff here. Inside week momentum hammer above 73.76. Sina going inside week. And what makes this interesting is how this formed up in here, these slight higher highs. And so if you go back to the daily, you'll see this. Here, all this business in here, the higher high, the lower low, the higher high, the lower low. Now this is the inside week to see if you can go up, sideways, measured, move back up into this stuff. So Sonic could be interesting here. SWKS here, and talked about this thing potentially having some problems because it has that outside month, inside month still. But anytime it's green on the month to try and take the shot out of this range, we'll pay attention to, because if you look at this daily, you're going to see something like this. This triangle in here and now back, all this stuff is in the middle of this. So it's got to take a shot at that or that eventually. And once they start going, once you get through here, you just look for continuation patterns to take a shot at that. Or once it takes this out, right? Because what we saw is Corvo do that. Corvo gets stuck in here and then there we go, just shooting up into there. If we go to Pterodine just still doing the waka waka here, walking up like so. And some of this stuff gets back to where longer term charts and saying, well, if these semis have gone too far, and you can remember where these guys used to keep, where they used to come from, right there in Texas Instruments. All right, so these, there's still some mighty highs to go after. Xilinx here, and so we'll see. If we get to just a few more, ACN interesting here because on the weekly, inside week, and if it breaks to the downside, it would be Rev Strat month inside week to the downside. Here's that shooter against the inside month, but it's back in that range. So we'll see if it wants to do this. The weekly go back up into the range and hold all this stuff, or drop puking and have the multiple actionable signals downside. AYI after the big puker comes back up for the big weekly hammer. Just wants to take a shot at that, and that's also going to be weekly hammer and daily momentum hammer to get back in here. There's that inside data, see if you can go recover, measured, move back up into here. AYI interesting in this environment. They do tend to let people off the hook. We'll see. CXW. Remember these guys, and now we might need some more prisons for the new president, so just keep an eye on this thing here. We don't have any actionable signals, but certainly an interesting triangle to keep an eye on. John Deere, inside week, momentum hammer. It would also be inside month and up. If we go to FSLR, FSLR is now inside month and up, back to the upside to see what we can get out of this monthly triangle here. If she really wants to be a real boy again, I guess he, because you got the JSO, and we'll see if there's any hope. Sometimes they run all the solars at the same time, so there's an inside week there if there's any hope for that. Garmin would be rev strat week back to the upside, but if it refails that, you're bordering that inside month here. So we'll see on either side of that thing. Honeywell creeping towards the highs and going inside weak. Like so, momentum hammer to see if it wants to take a shot at those highs. LVLT, inside week and presently inside month and up, just going into higher highs. You see this triangle trying to expand that, but it is inside month to the upside. OCLR goes inside week like this. So it's had this big rip, but now it's trying to hold a little bit higher in here. So you got an inside week to see if it wants to keep doing this thing where they bring them in, go shooting back up towards the highs. Inside week for OCLR. It would still, if it breaks to the downside, it would be an inside month, potential month or break, inside month. So either way on that thing, we can keep an eye on that. If you go to Polaris, PII, still an inside month, so we're waiting for that break. You do have potential weekly hammer to take a shot at it. If we go to PPG goes inside week, and if it goes inside week to the downside, make sure you can see that. Inside week, and if it goes to the downside, it could potentially kick in the rev strat month here below 93.80. If we go to Sherwin-Williams just inside month and up, and been bringing her on. So the hopes here would be up, sideways measured move of this bar. SWK still inside month, and now let's see if they want to bring that inside week monthly combo to try and get out of this thing. Oops. Here. Ah, bam, 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 bam. Now I try to get out of there. And last but not least, Tesla. Tesla with the rev strat quarter per the macro video goes out on the highs and on the monthly. Once again, trying to come up now, takes all these guys out. So we have that macro signal. Outside of that, no new actionable signals, but certainly here. Now it takes this stuff out. And so anytime you take out any new highs, you can just draw your triangle like that. It takes out the highs, right? Doesn't mean it's going to stop there. We just want to be aware of that because we can exhaust, because it's a new, anytime you go on the highs, you have the potential of exhausting out the shorts. But it's another good example of how the triangles become support and resistance. Here, Tesla comes up, triangle, old triangle here, goes up, comes back, test, and off to the races. Now it's straight momentum, albeit the rev strat quarter is still heavily in force. So that's going to be a little bit of straight momentum to start off the week until we can get new actionable signals. So we've got tight inside week for the SPY, and as you can see, a lot of these sectors are still really tight. So the question is, have they consolidated long enough to go ripping towards the highs, get Dow going 20,000, or have we reached an equilibrium where the VIX is just too low and we start taking some of these inside weeks to the downside? It's still a mixed bag, as you can see, even within the sectors. So it's still going to get some earnings. It's going to be case-by-case basis, and then we're going to see how the market reacts when Donald Trump is actually the president. All right, that's going to do it for this week. I'm Rob Smith, in the Black, Quant VTF here at T3 Live.